evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, whatever platform we're watching this on, please leave a comment. So tonight, I've got Josh again with me, and we've got a lot to talk about for tonight, I think. So we've just had the Champions League draw earlier today, around 5-ish, finished around 6-ish. And Spurs have been given Frankfurt, Marseille, and Sporting. Yeah. And we also have
good draw. Very good.
Very good draw. Very good draw. And we have Nottingham Forest playing against them away on Sunday, which should be quite a tough game, actually. I think on paper it looks easy, but it's never going to be easy. And I think people forget that Serge Aurier has just joined them. So you've got the extra Spurs, ex-Spurs player back there. Okay, so I'm going to just get right into it. So what are your thoughts on draw, first of all, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very good draw on paper. Again, I actually think that certain teams have a slightly easier draw. I think that everything stacks up that it's the perfect draw for us, really. I mean, I'll go into my sort of debrief on the teams a bit later on. But, overall, it's a draw that as a Spurs fan, if you were offered that at the start, you think finally it's not rigged in Liverpool's favour. And you'd also think, this is a group that Tottenham should comfortably finish top of.
I just want to make a point though, because I thought the same thing, right? But I didn't remember a few years ago when we got back into Champions League with Pochettino, and we had that very sort of easy group-ish with Monaco. I can't remember the other teams, but it was like on paper it was Leverkusen, yeah. And a lot of us thought, this will be a straightforward not walk in the park, but we'd expect us to get through. And I think we finished third in the group. If I'm not wrong.
So you make a good point, but this is a very different Tottenham. This is a Conte Tottenham. This is a team that's not, Conte will not have his team, losing those types of games. We're not playing Mora from Slovenia, where in a competition you don't really want to be in. These players will be licking their lips at the prospect of playing these teams home and away. And also, we're playing actually teams in a far worse situation. Let me take you through our opponents, and I'll start. I'll start with Eintracht Frankfurt. So, they've been boosted with the news in the last couple of days that Kevin Trapp, who has been nothing short of a sensation in goal for them, is staying at the club. Manchester United were interested in a move for him, but have since had to target Martin Dubravka from Newcastle because, which is United fans won't be pleased with at all, really, because
he's not a bad goalkeeper, I don't think.
Yeah, but he's lost his place now to Nick Pope. So, clearly this is a backup goalkeeper. Trapp is not a backup goalkeeper. Trapp is a Champions League goalkeeper. If you cast your mind back a few years, he even got a move to PSG at one point. So he's a super talented player and he's staying. It looks like Ndicka, Evan Ndicka, very, very talented left-sided centre-back.
I think we've been linked with him, haven't we, as well?
Really, we're looking... I know a lot of Spurs fans that were very keen on him. I've been very keen on him as well. Looks like he might be staying. But they're a team in a bit of free fall since their Europa League win. Currently sit 15th in the league after an 11th place finish last season. I know all eyes were kind of on the Europa League, and obviously that's secured Champions League, so it's a bit of a weird situation there. But they lost the European Super Cup 2-0 to Real Madrid. I mean, that's a team that you'd expect them to lose to anyway, so no hard feelings on that side of things. But they went and got pumped 6-1 by Bayern Munich. And I know we can't really talk because we lost 7-2. However,
that was
6-1 at home to Bayern Munich. And I'm pretty sure they haven't actually won a game this season. They drew as well.
They haven't won
another
anything.
League game. So that's why they sit 15th. I know it's early days, but they're yet to win a game under Oliver Glasner this season. They've also lost Filip Kostic, who was such a creative force for them last season to Juventus. So Eintracht Frankfurt is a really interesting team. Of course, they've got Mario Götze. This season.
He plays for Frankfurt now. I know he was on the free, wasn't he?
PSV. Yeah, obviously we know what a talent he was before he got that muscular disease, which kind of really took him a step back in his career, but still a tremendous footballer with, that you can only respect. Daichi Kamada in midfield, again, a very good midfielder, effective for them. So, yeah, they've still got a few threats. They've still got some good players there, but definitely not the same team that won the Europa League. So I think actually they are one of the teams that may actually, end up in the Europa League again,
You think?
potentially.
Oh, you think?
I think they could get some points. They could get some draws. I'm not sure how many games they're going to win. And then I suppose that moves me on to the second team, which is the other team that I would, say again, they're in a bit of free fall. They're not in a great situation, is Sporting Lisbon. So obviously, Sporting Lisbon is a team that Eric Dyer came from. So many
You saw their tweets, didn't you?
talented. Yeah, I mean, so many talented players to come from there. I mean,
isn't Ronaldo from there? Am I wrong?
Yeah, so CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo started his career.
I remember
really
actually
his professional career at Sporting Lisbon, and Sporting has just churned out talent down the years. Bruno Fernandes,
yeah, he's another one. Yeah,
Matheus Nunes and João Palhinha going to Fulham, going to Wolves and Fulham respectively this summer. So their midfield is in a little bit of trouble. They might be bolstered. I mean, there's very strong rumours that Cristiano Ronaldo could potentially return.
God, can you imagine if he went back?
I think that move makes total sense. A Champions League club. It's his first real club. It's a romantic story, him going back to Portugal for the last couple of years of his career. It would be great. Ruben Amorim is the manager. He's only young. He's only about 37 years old. So they're in a team again in transition. They got pumped 3-0 by Porto, the other Champions League side. They got a player sent off in the mix as well. So they are a team that, I know, again, it's early to judge these teams. But again, we seem to be drawing them at the right time. I'd much rather us draw Sporting Lisbon than FC Porto. And obviously, Porto are such a strong team under Conceição, who's, again, a very brilliant young manager, one that was linked with Spurs as well. So that's going to be really interesting as well.
And you got Marseille as the last team.
Marseille, exactly. So Marseille, again, another team in transition. They had a fantastic season last year. William Saliba, obviously the Arsenal.
I know he's gone back to Arsenal, hasn't he? I think
he was on loan from Arsenal last season. Had such a strong season. He is no longer there, of course, and there's been a lot of change. So they had Andre Villas-Boas as manager. Now they've got
they did. You're right. You're right. He did.
But Igor Tudor was the assistant manager at Juventus, and then went to Verona.
Yeah, Hellas Verona.
Was the manager of Verona last season. He's earned his move to Marseille. But the interesting situation there, I mean, there's a lot of players we know. We know Alexis Sanchez, Guendouzi, their latest addition, Eric Bailly, on loan from Manchester United. So that seems to be, one to fill the void for Saliba, perhaps. And of course, the club captain, Dimitri Payet. But interestingly, under Igor Tudor so far, Payet hasn't started a game. He's been on the bench the whole time. So there, it seems to be quite an unpopular decision there. But they are unbeaten at the start of this.
Okay.
They started with a 1-1 draw against Brest before, despite getting a player sent off in their game against Nantes. They did beat them 2-1. All of the goals came quite late. So Marseille, for me, is going to be the toughest.
You think?
The toughest team we come up against. And particularly the away games. I think actually all 3 games are very winnable at home. Tottenham should be looking to win those quite comfortably, actually. But go to the Stade Vélodrome in Marseille, where the fans, we know that the Marseille fans are the craziest in France and perhaps one of the craziest sets of fans in Europe. They almost remind me of Turkish fans. That's how crazy.
They're a bit wild, aren't they?
It's going to be a very intimidating atmosphere. And Eintracht as well. Eintracht Frankfurt have very, very good fans as well. So they're all going to be exciting games. They're all winnable. Tottenham could get 18 points out of this group. But
don't you think
it's never that easy at the same time?
I was going to say, because for example, Sporting Lisbon, I think might be a tricky away game because we always seem to write off those sort of teams.
Sure.
I'm more confident going to Frankfurt. I don't know why, and obviously Marseille, like you said, is probably going to be the hardest on paper because they have a lot of ex Premier League players as well, like
Yeah.
Sanchez and
So
Bailly, and they know us, I guess, better. I guess.
I suppose, but we're playing all three teams in a sort of state of transition, which means that there's
Advantage
an
Tottenham.
air of unpredictability about them, which
Yeah.
actually could be to a disadvantage of Spurs because there is an element of, exactly as you put it, we could write them off, which would of course be a really stupid thing to do because they're all three are teams that in any other year you would be thinking, I guess a bit of a tough group. But because of the situation they're in, you know, I think Sporting's a different beast if they manage to re-sign Ronaldo. That we know because he can change the game on his own. And Ronaldo for Man United single-handedly beat us. Marseille, again, I think Marseille and Frankfurt have probably the two of the most intimidating atmospheres. But if you think about it, if you're Antonio Conte, if you're Harry Kane, if you're Heung-min Son, if you're any of those players in that team, you would be thinking we can win all 6 games here and we should go and win all 6 games here. So, you know, bar an injury or an individual error or, you know, a bit of ill discipline, this should be a group that Tottenham look to comfortably win. And I think as fans, we should expect no less than that. I know it might be tough, but we've got to be realistic here. These are teams that are clearly not in as good a position as we are. We're very, very lucky to have this group.
I know.
So, you know, let's not mess this up. Let's go out. Let's send a real statement. Let's win 6 games out of 6, or at least go the group unbeaten. And, you know, let's progress. Let's progress to the knockouts. Let's progress as a high seed with a chance of, you know, drawing a lesser team. You know, I mean, you could turn around and you could say, oh, well, Tottenham have finished first in their group, but then they play whoever finishes second out of Bayern, Barcelona, or Inter Milan.
I was going to bring that up, actually.
Yeah,
did you see that group?
I mean, it's always the way, isn't it, that one of the so-called smaller teams...
Because I was watching it, like, secretly
again.
at work, right? So I had a little screen on the side whilst I was working.
Yeah.
And I saw that group come up, because obviously I was watching, like, on and off, because I was doing stuff, obviously. And then I saw that group come up. I was like, Barcelona, Inter Milan. I didn't see number 4. I can't remember who the 4th team was. It was like Barcelona, Inter, and Bayern Munich. I was like, what the, like, what? How did this fall? How it?
No, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
the group stage has thrown a few stories in there. Of course, we've got
Ajax, Napoli,
Haaland returning to Dortmund.
Yeah.
Calvin Bassey, who's just moved from Rangers to Ajax, going to play back at Ibrox again.
That's a tough group, I think, as well.
I wanted us to get into Milan because of the Conte and the Bastoni thing. Just you know, just because I wanted to see the Spurs fans' reactions to that. Also, my dad grew up an Inter fan as well as.
Right.
So there's a personal connection there.
I mean, there's no Greek teams in those, so I couldn't say, you know, let's get Olympiacos or something.
No, of course. I mean, Liverpool's going to be an interesting group.
They got Ajax and Napoli.
All of them. I love the fact that Celtic are going to go to Real Madrid as well. I think that's brilliant. That's a great story. Real Madrid playing at Paradise. So absolutely. I mean, I think all round, it's a really good
draw.
Draw, and I think it's gonna throw up some real shocks, some real surprises. I mean, when I saw that Real Madrid Celtic draw, I thought back to when Tony Watt scored the goals against Barcelona.
Oh yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And it made me, you know, anything can happen. So let's not write anyone off yet. It's going to be tough, but as Spurs fans, we can be confident.
I mean, Group C is going to be very interesting to watch. If we're not playing on that day, I'll probably tune into one of those games.
No, so I think what they do is Group A to D play on the same day, and Group E to
I can't remember the format
on the other day. It's for TV reasons. So they do it deliberately so that they have 2 teams. For example, there's 2 English teams in Group A to D and 2 in the other.
So it fits on both nights. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And so I think actually, you know, the teams that probably laughing at this stage would be Real Madrid. They'll be looking at that group and they'll be like, thank you very much. Again, potentially 18 points for them if all goes well, Spurs will be again one. I think they can really fancy themselves. I think even Chelsea's group is interesting. Now, AC Milan was the team I really wanted.
Oh,
Um,
really? Oh,
I
because of
really
Inter
wanted
and
AC
the
Milan
whole thing.
because I cannot stand them. So
Oh,
I
really?
wanted
Okay.
them. And I
I was
thought,
praying for the easiest group possible.
game.
What I feel in my tweets earlier in the day, I was sitting there praying the
Yeah, I
easiest
mean,
group possible.
it's either or, isn't it? It's either you play the teams you really want to play
Yeah.
because there's a personal connection to that,
I know what you're saying.
or
Yeah. If there
you
was a
want the
Greek team in there or a Cypriot team, I'd be like, please put us in their groups. It'll be interesting. I get to,
no, exactly. I mean, Victoria Pilsen. It's a bit like Sheriff Tiraspol last season.
Oh,
They
yeah.
went and beat Real Madrid. So why not Victoria Pilsen go to the new camp and
And win as well.
go to the Allianz and get a result there?
You know
Do you
what?
know what I
Those
mean?
teams as well. I think we need to count ourselves as lucky that we got a French team, a German team, and a Portuguese team because those countries are not so far out as well. Like if you're
Yeah, I
traveling
mean,
places like Victoria Pleasant and other countries like far away,
Pilsen's only Czech Republic, and
yeah.
even that's the thing that's lucky. Even Donetsk, which would be a
Donetsk,
tough
yeah,
team
I
to
know.
go and play.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't want them at all, or
Donetsk,
Zagreb.
Donetsk are playing in Poland because of the war in
Yeah.
Ukraine.
I heard about Warsaw, wasn't it? Yeah, they're in Warsaw, aren't they?
I mean, the team that I really didn't want was Maccabi Haifa.
I didn't want
Because
Dynamo Zagreb because I still have PTSD from that 3-0.
tell me about it. I've never been so angry after a game. But
Yeah.
Maccabi Haifa, imagine going to play Maccabi Haifa. That would all the way over to Israel. I think these are very favourable.
Also, where they are is quite
travel as
favourable,
well.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Even Portugal, two and a bit hours.
It's nothing for them.
Marseille, an hour and a half.
France, easy Eurostar. Well, not exactly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's Eurostar to Paris, Gare du Nord, switch to Gare de Lyon, and get the train down south.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, France, Germany, and Portugal.
You're better off flying. You're definitely better off flying to Marseille. But the final as well in Istanbul.
That's a throwback and a half, isn't it?
Well, they seem to have it all the bloody time. They had it back in 2019, 2018, I think it was.
You know what? I'll never forget. I hate to bring this up, but I never forget that game that Liverpool won at Istanbul. I was very young when I watched it.
Moment in football history. It's not irrespective of who you support.
Like I remember when I was younger when I watched it. It was just
we were absolutely stunned, weren't we? It doesn't matter who you support in those moments. Those are the games that, by hook or by crook, you just feel blessed to be
witnessed it.
To witness such history, and it's why we love the sport.
I watched it when I was in Cyprus. Actually, I remember. That's how I remember it.
I suppose if it was. I suppose if it was like, I don't know, Arsenal or Chelsea,
forget about it. Like Chelsea Bayern Munich, I don't really think about that game much. So.
No, I mean, we're going to find out. I think I'm pretty sure we find out the exact structuring of that
Saturday, right?
We were playing a Saturday, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
But for me, that's not even in my mind right now. All I'm thinking about is Sunday, the City Ground, Nottingham.
Bring out Forest as well because we got them in the Carabao Cup.
Well, exactly. I know, and we're going to become quite acquainted. I wonder if that Carabao Cup tie is going to be the one that Jed Spence
finally
really
starts.
makes his appearance. No, absolutely.
But do you think with Forest they've signed 19 players, haven't they?
Yeah. So the latest, obviously, you mentioned Serge Aurier, not official yet.
It's not done yet.
But in advanced talks, they're also keen on
Reguilon, isn't it?
Sergio Reguilon. So
they were linked with Tanganga as well. Tanganga.
They had a lot of players on loan, but you think
Tanganga?
I think Tanganga's going to Serie A. I think that's more likely. I think that's more likely. I'm surprised they haven't gone for Harry Winks, considering they want to sign
Winks is
from their mum and their grandpa and their dog.
Did you hear Sampdoria apparently was done with Winks and he said no or something?
I think he's stalling, isn't he? I think he wants to stay. It's a big thing to move to Italy. I think ideally, if he was going to go, he would have rather gone to Roma, Mourinho, and Tammy Abraham and Chris Smalling, some familiar faces, perhaps. Also, they're just not that good.
Yeah, so where are they going to go?
But I think this is a wake-up call to Winks. I think Harry Winks would actually almost be better off playing in the Championship. than playing in Serie A.
I think he would do well in the Championship.
I think why not? I don't think it's that embarrassing for a player that's had a good run in the Premier League to suddenly go to a top tier Championship side and be the difference between promotion or
Then
not
yeah,
promotion for them. Take him and put him in a Sheffield United side, or put him in a Middlesbrough side, or put him in a Norwich City side,
he would do really well.
or even in a Blackburn Rovers side. He would really, really have an impact. So I don't think there's any shame in that whatsoever. And I think, as long as wages aren't the issue, because with the parachute payments, they shouldn't be. Why not? I think he'd play very well there.
I can't help but not mention Dele Alli because my Twitter's gone mental about it for the past couple of days. So he's going to Besiktas, and apparently we're not getting any money for it at all. So yeah, bye Dele. Don't you think? I think I just want to touch on this quickly.
Spurs in agreeing that deal knew there was a very high chance they would not get any money.
I know, in terms of just Dele and his career.
That's the only reason Spurs did the deal, because the money
that
he received is the money that we're not paying him in wages. So it's all, it's not great. It's not a good look. But at the same time, these things happen. And I'd rather have him off the wage bill.
Same. I didn't want him to stay. So
you're not used to love him.
Well, back in 2017 up until 2018, I'd say the game for me that really changed him. Well, not game really. The one thing that really changed for me is that I saw him. The Boohoo. He got that Boohoo contract, whatever. So I was meeting a friend in London, and I got off at the station. And I walk out and I see this random massive poster of Dele Alli, like Boohoo, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" I didn't even know. I'm not into that media stuff.
It's the concern that he's getting caught up as if he was a Love Island star. Next thing we know, he'll be on Love Island next year.
It's not implausible now.
No, I think Turkey is a very good move for him. Balotelli has resurrected his career there. I think Dele's going to go there and he's going to prove a point.
I mean, I have a Turkish friend who supports Besiktas, so he was quite happy. But I just warned him. I was like, just calm down, because I haven't seen the Dele.
No, but it's a league where there's no pressure on him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go there and he's going to tear it up. We know he's going to tear it up.
Because I sort of thought that when Mourinho came, I thought Mourinho was going to get something out of him. And then he started for 5 games and he stopped again.
It's an attitude problem.
A real problem. But don't you think his career is like such a massive fall?
He would sort of run dragging his legs behind him.
But don't you think like his fall is quite like tragic in some ways? Don't get me wrong. I've wanted him gone since like 2019, right? But don't you think it's quite tragic considering I remember I was a big Dele Alli fan when he came through. I was actually one of his biggest defenders, I think, for like 2 years. Because I would complain, right, in games when he was doing nothing. And I'd be like, take him off. A minute later, he'd score a goal.
Well, that was it. He was the type of player that would create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a lot of opportunities. I think that they would get the best out of him at Besiktas to play him behind the main striker, because that is his best position.
Yeah.
And he was taken out of that position. And some of that has to be down to Poch, who took him out that position.
And obviously people point to the fact when Eriksen left, but bearing in mind, Pochettino still had Eriksen when he was here. Eriksen left on the...
Well, no, exactly. I mean, he was rotating the two, wasn't he? One would play Geek one game. One would play Geek the other. I mean, you wouldn't get the best out of him.
What's happened? Okay. Like, for me, like, his best position was, like you said, as a second striker. And I don't think he's suited, obviously, playing deeper at all, because he just doesn't have the nous for it, I don't think. But, I don't know. With Dele, I'm kind of like... If you go and do what he wants to do, but I'm not really that bothered anymore.
No, I still wish him all the best, because, he did give us some pretty good memories down the years. Sorry, I was just drinking some water.
That's
but
okay.
I kind of needed to guzzle it, so I didn't want to do that on camera.
Okay.
No, I mean, I wish him the best.
Yeah.
And I really hope for him that he can turn his career around.
Because he's only 26, isn't he?
He was such a talented player.
He's 26, I think.
And no, absolutely, he is. And you don't want to see players waste their talent.
I'm thinking about what
But
you were
again,
saying.
it's quite a
Yeah.
no, I know it's just really stuffy.
Oh.
It's one of those things that Frank Lampard's made a very ballsy call. But I think actually a lot of that is because they've strengthened in midfield. They've really strengthened in midfield.
Mm.
Um, so Everton, I saw Everton making a bid for Che Adams, I think
Yeah,
around
I saw that as
5
well.
million.
Yeah.
So, if they can pull that one off, that would be another good signing.
But they've got a big gap to close, really, if they're going to get back into Europe.
No, absolutely. I mean, don't even think about it for now. Do you know what I mean?
As for Tottenham, I thought I'd go back to the Champions League draw. So obviously we bought some players, and people are insisting that they're just for depth, which I somewhat agree on. So
Yeah.
do you think we'll see a lot of rotation in these Champions League game weeks between, for example, Richarlison coming in for Son, for example, or like Lucas getting a random start here and there? You got the wing backs maybe changing.
I think it depends who you're playing. I think we come up against Sporting Lisbon. There's nobody I want to see start more than Richarlison.
Mm.
He's Portuguese speaking. He'll understand what they're saying tactically. A bit of this, a bit of that. Maybe get Lucas Moura spying on their bench a little bit. A bit of the dark arts here and there. I want to see Richarlison unleashed in the Champions League, and I think that's where we will see him at his
You think?
very best. I think he could actually be our top scorer in the group stage,
Oh
Richarlison,
wow!
if
Okay.
he gets minutes. I just think that pace, that pure energy under the lights at the Tottenham Stadium and under the lights at, all of those grounds in Europe. Who do you want to see more than anyone? And yet, if it was Marseille away, I wouldn't want Richarlison anywhere near the pitch because I think he'd get himself sent off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's premature
Because
to
of
say this,
Payet.
but
It's because of Payet.
I just, you feel like he's just being
I
rained.
really want Richarlison
I
to
want to
start,
see him
especially
just
because
let
the
go,
way
let
Son's
him off
been
the
playing.
leash,
Yeah.
and let him go and score for fun and attack defenders and cause all sorts of chaos. And I think that's where we're going to be really, really strong in the group. And actually, I cannot wait. And I think Basuma as well. I'd love to see Basuma get a chance in the Champions League.
I think for me, the two players, I know we've signed them like back in last January, but for me, Kulusevski and Bentancur, I think we'll see a lot more of their quality in the Champions League.
Certainly from a tactical side of things,
Yeah.
because we're going to be looking at, games where it's not playing English clubs. And so tactically, they're very different. There's a different pace to it, But Champions League games are a bit hectic, aren't they? They're the type of, I always think of Spurs at home in the Champions League as rock and roll, heavy metal football, as Jurgen Klopp says,
All right.
super high intensity, big
Octane,
atmosphere, high octane football, start to finish. It's like one big whew. And as soon as the game finishes, you can't remember any of it apart from the goals and the carnage because it just goes so fast, And in those games, Bentancur's range of passing is going to be important. Kulu could have fun.
I can think because he had more time on the ball in the Champions League, I think, compared to the Premier League.
It really depends who you're playing, I think.
But I can see him like going into pockets and stuff like that in certain games. And like Bentancur, like you said, threading the balls in.
I'd be interested to see if we come up against a low block. I think against Frankfurt, that's exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get a low block. I think Sporting as well, a Portuguese side, Portuguese tactics,
Mourinho,
defensively, but also good on the counter. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be all of it's going to be exciting, but again, it's not even. I'm trying not to think about it too much because of this big game on Sunday.
Yeah. So what do you think going into Forest? Obviously, both in the cup, like, were you happy with the draw? And also, obviously, playing on the Sunday, so, like, were you happy with the Carabao Cup draw? I was kind of, because it's away from home, I'm always a bit iffy about it.
I'd be lying if I said I paid any attention to the Carabao Cup because it's probably the lesser of the competitions that we're in. One that we could go and win, sure. And when it comes around, I'll care about it.
Yeah.
But I think let's just get the Premier League game out of the way because that's going to be a very tough game. They played West Ham. They played well. They were really tough to break down. West Ham, had a few chances, but again, couldn't get anything through. Dean Henderson is a very good goalkeeper. So
Yeah, I've always
our
rated him.
attacking players going to have to be at their very best. So I think it's going to be a tough game, but I would hope Tottenham will win. I think this is a banana skin game potentially, but Spurs have got to be serious. This is the game where I really want Tottenham to step it up and actually show up for the first time since that Chelsea game. I really want to see us step up and put in a dominant performance and win with a clean sheet.
I was going to bring up also, considering you low block you just mentioned, do you think Forest will play at home in a low block against us and will be frustrated again?
They will, but they're also quite good on the attack as well. They're one thing I have nothing but respect for Steve Cooper for is he does not bow down to any team. He plays his way of football regardless, and they are a very good passing side. They like to dominate the ball. They like to attack from width. They like to create lots of chances. They like to get crosses into the box. They like to use their physical dominance. Joe Worrell at the back and from set pieces is a danger. Their new striker from Union Berlin is a absolute tank. He looks like an Olympic sprinter. And his name, I'm not even gonna try.
It.
I mean, I'm gonna get up the spelling now and see if I can give it a go. But I mean, I've tried to pronounce his name before, and I think I've just Awonyi, Taiwo Awonyi is what I'm gonna guess it is. But it's spelled Awonyi, but Awonyi, I think. I don't know. I'll one of the people I work with is
yeah, you're right. 17 million apparently.
Yes. No, he's built like an absolute.
Oh my god, they've got so many players. Niakate,
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to get rid of some players.
Jesse Lingard.
Again, he can cause problems. But Taiwo Awonyi is Nigerian, if I'm correct. I'm going to speak to my Nigerian workmate tomorrow and find out how to pronounce that name properly. But he, big stature, quite a heavy guy, looks like a sprinter. Shinned in his goal against West Ham, hasn't done anything much of note. But then you've also got Brennan Johnson, who's a tricky player. So there's a few. So
did they sign Morgan? Did they sign Morgan Gibbs White, or is that I think with someone else?
Yeah, very big signing. He'll probably make his debut.
Yeah, for 26.5 million apparently from Wolves.
Yeah, I mean they're a team that's going to be very confident.
Emmanuel Dennis.
We know his quality. He'll feature undoubtedly. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of threats in different positions. However, signing that many players, you've got to take time to bed them in. You can't expect them all to settle straight away. So, we'll just see how it goes, eh?
But I mean, I think it's because they had so many players on loan, right, last season, and
they did. They had 5 or 6 on loan, but that doesn't constitute
19 players.
Well, exactly. So it's a very big jump. But so far they've handled it well. I mean, they've got a win, a draw, and a defeat in their opening 3. 4 points, I don't think is bad for a relegated side. Not a relegated side.
Not yet.
A team to come up from the championship. I don't see them getting relegated.
Nah.
So,
do you remember when Fulham signed 12 players when they came up? Was that?
Well, yeah, they did. They went horribly wrong.
Yeah. Can you see that happening with Forest or not?
No, not at all. I mean, they've got too good a manager, and the type of players look built for the Premier League.
So you think they'll be all right?
Yeah.
So what do you envisage happening on Sunday then, in terms of the way the game's going to pan out? Because we're the last game, I think, of the weekend, aren't we?
Well, it all depends if we start quick. If we start quick, then how many do you want to score? If we get to half time and we're not ahead, that's a real problem. If we go half time behind. We've been poor in the first half. I think that's the one thing I'm really, really looking for.
Do you
Is
expect any changes? Do you think Richarlison might get a go or not?
I want a 3-5-2. I want Richarlison. I want Bissouma. Are we going to get it? Conte's stubborn,
He
so
won't. He won't give it to us just yet.
I'm going to say no. But if we get it,
We're really happy.
I'll be very happy. I think Richarlison could start. I've got a niggling feeling that Richarlison could start.
I think, like from what I've seen of him, obviously he's only played a few minutes, but he looks hungry. So I think we should give him a
He's got
start.
reason to be. His place is under threat for the number 9 jersey for Brazil. Look at how Jesus has started the season.
Oh, yes, this has started.
But Jonathan Ham, who is he's always very good on the Twitter Spaces. He's best mates with Richarlison's agent.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So he has said in his agent also represents Josh Da Silva and Eberiche Eze as well. But allegedly, everyone at the club, Conte players, everyone there has been taken aback by how good Richarlison has been. He's exceeded all expectations in ways they didn't expect. So that's why maybe his place is going to be fast tracked. Perisic is going to start again, which is going to be exciting. Just watch him go, watch him fly. Yeah,
he was one man of the match on Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, for me, I think he certainly was in with a shout. Him and Højbjerg were both superb. But for me, yeah, let's watch Perisic fly. If Richarlison gets the chance, so be it. But this is a big game for Sonny. Sonny's got to step up. Sonny's really got to cement his place now and say, look, I'm here. I've arrived this season, and I'm not going to stop scoring.
Because now he has Richarlison bringing his arms the neck. So,
well, this is it. This is it, and this is what Conte wanted. Conte wanted these dilemmas, and now we've got that. So, it's a healthy position to be in. 7 points. We should be looking to make it 10. And then on to the next.
So before we go, I'm going to touch on just some transfer stuff quickly. So we've been linked with a number of wingers this week. Anthony Gordon, Alan St. Maxim, and Adama Traore. Do you see us signing any of them before the window closes, especially with Brian Gill seemingly on his way out? And I think Conte said he wants a replacement. So you also got your friend, what's it? Sorry, I say his name wrong. Malinowski?
Malinowski.
Is that how you say it? Okay.
Malinowski. No, I mean, for me, not the signing, not the answer.
It's going to happen.
I like him, but not the answer. I think we're going to have to wait till deadline day. I really do. But I think actually that's not a bad thing, because if the right player comes, then the right player comes. Pedro Neto to Arsenal. There's been rumours of that. If Pedro Neto comes to Arsenal, then I can't see Adama Traore leaving, especially after he scored in the Carabao Cup in midweek for Wolves.
I can't see him leaving either, to be honest.
And then, Adama would add something different.
But don't you think that the fact he rejected us once, why are we going back again?
I don't think he rejected us. I don't know that there's entire truth there.
Because I heard he held out for Barca.
Barcelona was where he came from.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
to go back to the club he was developed from to prove himself.
Yeah.
It
didn't work out though.
So I think, he looks hungry. He got a goal, which is good. That's more than he normally gets. So interesting one, and it would be a good price potentially as well. Alan Saint-Maximin's not happening. Full stop. Absolutely no chance.
But there's a rumor that he's got a 40 million Champions League release clause.
I cannot confirm or deny. I honestly don't know. It's all speculation until someone.
Just some stuff I'm seeing on Twitter.
No, until a real credible source comes out and confirms that, I'm not going to get lost in that. And also, 40 million, he's never going to come and sit on the bench. He's starting every single game. So whilst Sonny's here and Richarlison's here and Kulusevski's here and Kane's here, why would he want to join Tottenham? I can't see it for the life of me. And he's not going to come to play wing back either. So we've got to
every player we sign gets linked to play wing back.
Yeah, just dream on. Seriously.
I mean, Zaniolo's kind of gone quiet, but
Not happening. Again, that's already been confirmed as not happening.
Anthony Gordon.
Gordon, again, Spurs aren't going to fork out 60 million, which Chelsea are prepared to pay. Again, one we need to forget about. For me, the interesting one is Hakim Ziyech.
Well, you know how I feel about Ziyech, so
Yeah, Ziyech is going to be the one to watch, I think, unless there's a player that we haven't even thought about or discussed that comes out the blue and takes us by storm, comes out of nowhere, and
but
suddenly.
would they sell to us? Do you think they would sell to us?
I don't think they wouldn't sell to us, actually.
Really?
At the end of the day, has Todd Bowley been in a position where he's rejected a Spurs advance for a player?
Not yet.
Not yet. Has he explicitly said he's not going to do that? No. I think, does money talk? Yes. If we offer the right money that they're asking for, it's going to be down to the player. I think that Chelsea just want to get rid for a fee. And if Tottenham match that, does it matter? I mean, Raheem
I quite
Sterling
like Ziyech, so
for Chelsea, so
I quite
strange
like
things
Ziyech,
have
so
happened. Yeah, I mean, what do you make of him? I mean, I'm not entirely convinced.
at Ajax for me,
Not
he
at
was
29.
he was brilliant. He was brilliant at Ajax, but I think he'd shown a. Well, I don't actually remember Van der Vaart was pushing us to sign him before he went to Chelsea, and there were like rumors we were looking at him even from back then. But I do think if we look at him as a player, obviously he's just been a bit part player at Chelsea. But I think he offers sort of like the versatility and the creativity we need. He's a creative player.
But again, he predominantly plays off the right, which is not what we need. We need a player that predominantly plays off the left. So,
Well, we got
as far as,
Richarlison playing off the left, don't you? So
yes, but I'd like to see Richarlison utilised as a central striker.
I don't know. I mean, they got Lucas as well, I guess. So maybe.
Listen, I think for me, if we're going to sign a player, we either need to sign someone that's a clear central striker or plays off the left. If we're going for an attacking player, again, I think that still defensive signing is the most important.
Mm-hmm. But I think Ziyech's rumored fee is like 8 million. Is that true? I don't know.
Yeah, so
Which is literally nothing.
It's not going to be 8 million. It's not going to be 8 million at all. It's going to be worth a lot more than that, and his wages will be astronomical as well. So, where I'm concerned, if you get him at a snip, not bad. Are there players I'd rather? Yes.
Are we going to spend the money for those players?
Are there a lot of players that I would rather? Yes. But how big your shopping list is,
it's not going to make a difference.
You can put as many things in your basket on Amazon. Doesn't mean you're going to order them all. Doesn't mean you can.
I'm in that situation right now anyway. On some site, I've got all these things in my basket. I click order X.
The fact that you said some site just sounds so dodgy, mate.
Some site, not some site. It's a t-shirt site, basically.
Yeah, but it still sounds dodgy. Some site.
No, it's a t-shirt site. But anyway.
Are the other Spurs TV shirts being printed?
Yeah.
Your face. I'd buy one, I just think that'd be so funny.
Well, just a joke. It's like
imagine going on a lad's holiday wearing a Spurs TV shirt with your face on it.
Maybe get some more subscribers. Come on.
Do you know what? Maybe someone needs to be stupid enough to bet that if Tottenham win the Champions League or the Premier League this season, they'll get your face tattooed onto their arse cheek.
Yeah, and then like, who's that?
That would be hysterical. Do you know who I reckon would do it? I reckon Billy Cairns would do it.
I think he probably would. I think he'd do like a lot of things, to be honest.
Billy or Kern would both do it, I reckon.
I prefer the t-shirt I did, pretty honest, because I don't want at least marketing material. It's like, who's that guy on your t-shirt?
Who's that guy on your right buttock?
Yeah.
No, I mean, either way, if it's a snip, Ziyech, not a bad buy, is it?
Like I said, I know he's 29, but at the same time, we can't really buy a player like you said about St. Maxim.
They loved him at Ajax.
I loved him at Ajax. So.
To be fair, so did I. I've got to be honest.
He was class at Ajax.
Pardon?
He was class at Ajax for me.
Oh yeah, I mean they had a fantastic team there, but again, I think we need a defender.
Yeah, but we've not been linked with anyone really. I don't think.
But then is
Max
Ziyech the
Kilman,
player?
I think was linked.
Ziyech
I don't know.
is, he's got a good shot on him. He gets into if Ziyech does what he did for Ajax and he gets through the middle,
That's what we need.
starts through the
Yeah,
middle and
yeah.
plays as an attacking midfielder, making those runs like he did against us in the Champions League. That could be a stroke of genius, really.
Mm. I
So
still think
I'm
there's a
not
player
prepared
there.
to say that I'm not going to rule him out. I'm not going to say I absolutely don't want him, but I think if you were to put a wish list together, if I was to put a wish list together, would he be on there? Probably. But how far down would he be is the question. And for me, it would be probably far down enough that you would probably stop reading out of boredom.
All right, okay. So who's your choice then?
Well, again, it's a difficult one because it really depends on who is available.
It's not much really. I don't know.
Is Ziyech going to get a long-term contract?
You might get a 3-year deal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean Paqueta.
He's going. Is he in negotiations with West Ham?
The 2 bids have been rejected. I'd love to steal Paqueta off of West
I
Ham.
mean, he's a good player.
Paqueta would be perfect, and if
Yeah.
you take him off of West Ham,
It'll be even better.
do you know who else? He's not had a good start to the season, but I absolutely adore Jared Bowen.
I know
I've
he's
loved Jared Bowen
quality,
at
isn't he?
Spurs.
Yeah.
Even Pablo Fornals, I think, is a really effective player. Very underrated.
Barama.
Not for me.
They've
Not
got
for me at
Lanzini
all.
as well, don't they? I think.
No, they've still got, I think, Lanzini in the books somewhere.
I think West Ham really remind you of when we had Joel at Tottenham in the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can see that. But Leon want more than 50 mil for Paqueta. Is Tottenham going to fork that out? Maybe. We
Brazil
still
clique. You got Emerson. You got Lucas. You got Richarlison.
They'll all know him.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll all be in his ear. Who
Emerson
knows?
doing the
It's
Lord's
whether
work.
Tottenham go out and spend the money. And I think that's one of the things. What's really been interesting is actually, speaking of another Chelsea player Tottenham have been linked with, is Trevor
Cannavaro.
Tulloch.
Yeah.
Inter and AC Milan both interested allegedly, but he would be a master stroke.
You think? Can he play as a centre back?
Plays on the right often, but can play probably can mold to play wherever. I just think he's a tremendous talent, and maybe I wonder, can Romero play centre back?
I like him off the right, but I know he's played.
I like him off the right too, but are we saying that because we don't have someone else that could play on the right? Have we given him much of a go there?
Not really.
All these little questions. He clearly is good on the right, but could he be good in the middle as well? Who knows? I think we need a tall centre back, though. I still think we need a really tall.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Someone of the profile of Joachim Andersen would be perfect, but
you really like him a lot, didn't you?
Cannot see Palace letting him go. No, I do. I think he'd be perfect. He's got the passing range. He plays on the left. 6'4".
I think we linked with him before he.
Yeah, no, we turned down the chance to sign him for 17 million because it was too much money when he was at Fulham.
Yeah,
we didn't want to pay that money for a team that was relegated. So
very Tottenham.
Indeed. But again, we're what, 5-6 days?
Is it close on Monday? Is it Monday or Tuesday?
We are in 36 minutes. We will be 7 days away. So we are pretty much exactly a week from transfer deadline day. So a lot can change, a lot can happen. I was going to ask you actually.
All right, okay.
If Tottenham's going to sign one more player,
yeah,
who are they signing?
Who do I want, or do I think they're going to sign?
Who do you think we're going to sign? It could be the most left field player ever.
Another youngster, probably.
Who? Give us a name.
I don't know who, but another youngster.
Zabani.
Someone like I know it sounds weird, but maybe like Guehi. Is it Guehi? Is that the centre back? Guehi?
He would be great.
Yeah,
Is
someone like
Palestine
that.
for any less than 50 mil? Probably not. I quite like Diego Llorente actually at Leeds.
Oh, I mean, Leeds have a lot of untapped potential, I think, in their team. Jack Harrison was another one we were linked with. I quite like Jack Harrison, actually.
60 million being
Yeah,
touted.
no, I quite like him. I think he's really good.
I was really happy with that link, but 60 mil sounds like an awful
Yeah, I know, a lot. Because I think Lyle Thomas reported that quite early in the window.
Yes.
And then now he's reporting, it's 60 million now, so.
Yeah, I mean, and do you think we'll sign 1 or 2 players?
One, I don't think we'll sign 2.
I could see us signing 2. In fact, the Evening Standard say that Tottenham are now looking at Paqueta.
Really? Is that from Dan Kilpatrick?
That is from... No, it's from Mark Mayo and Matt Berry.
Where is this? Let me find it. Is this on the news now? You've seen it?
No, Evening Standard.
Wait, is it this? Where am I not seeing it?
Just type in Tottenham transfer news on Google and you'll see it. Type it into Google and you'll see it.
Yeah. I know Fabrizio just reported about it as well, but not about us. No, he reported about West Ham making contact again.
Oh, by the way, some good news in the Europa League. AEK Larnaca are through.
Yeah. Are they through?
Yep. They won 3-0. I think they won 5-1. Omonia Nicosia won.
They're all through.
0 on aggregate.
Oh, they did their job at least.
2-0 wins in both legs. Ghent. I remember when we played Ghent and we got.
Oh, we lost, didn't we?
Yep, I'm pretty sure we lost and we drew 1 game as well. Here, I'll
Late
give
switch
you the
for
full.
Qatar.
See if there's others that went through of your.
So there's Paqueta. Yeah, here we go.
Any more of your tribe went through.
Deli Ali breaks silence. Yeah, you're right. We are looking at him apparently.
Yep. So yeah, Larnaca and Limassol, Apollon Limassol and Olympiacos is in extra time. Looks like
okay.
It's 1-1 and it looks like it could be going to penalties.
Oh god.
So this is one probably, as soon as we finish this, switch that one.
Watch it, yeah.
Penalty shootout.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a Cyprus win against Greece, surely.
You know what? It's quite funny because they draw each other quite a lot, the Cypriot and Greek teams. I don't know why they always draw each other. So before we close it off, just have a prediction.
Is Apollon your team?
Yeah, it's my dad's team in Cyprus. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to want to watch them.
Yeah,
they're going to be in a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
They equalised in the 90th minute.
Oh wow!
Take it to extra time. So, and Olympiacos is a big, big, big steal. If they get through that, that's a bit of a giant slaying.
For Cypriot team, that is quite big.
The Europa League qualifying. So, at the Karaiskakis Stadium.
Yeah, don't try and pronounce it.
Is it Karaiskakis?
Karaiskakis, that's probably something. But you don't have a Greek accent, so it's probably like
Karaiskakis.
Yeah. But anyway, before we close it off, just a prediction for Sunday's game. Score.
Spurs win, clean sheet.
So 1-0, are we saying, or something 2-0?
I'm not giving a score prediction.
Okay, I'm saying.
You know how I roll. You know I don't jinx it. I said Spurs win, clean sheet against Wolves, and we delivered. I'm saying
2-1 Tottenham.
I think you went with 2-1 last time, don't you?
Yeah.
You love a 2-1. We don't trust our team, do we?
I think we'll win, but it'll be like that much. Until we go and spank and team, like we've got West Ham next Wednesday. If we go and spank them, maybe
that would be the team to go and
yeah. If we do that there, then I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, again, a big week, first week with midweek games. So
That's gonna be a tough week. I mean, yeah,
I think we come through unscathed. Why not?
9 points
But with the midweek game, maybe we will see Basuma and Richarlison thinking
because
about
they
it.
need to play at some point anyway. So.
Well, exactly. We've got a midweek game, so maybe we'll go for the 3-4-3 against West Ham.
Or maybe we'll play a slightly weak. I say weaken. That's probably not the right word against Forest and the rest for West Ham.
I think we'll play Basuma and Richarlison. To me, that's not a weakened team.
I know, but you know what I'm trying to say, as in
Sure.
change it.
We're going to have to rotate the squad. This is what we came for.
That was the purpose of those signings. So
absolutely, indeed. But
okay, so before it closes it off, come on, you Spurs.
up the Spurs.
That was